Hare Krishna Mataji, yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
We will start.
Shall I start? Is it streaming?
Yes, Mataji, we'll start.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. And Saranya Mataji and Amuga Prabhu, thank you for your presence. Is there somebody else?
Prabhavati Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhavati Mataji, welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right, I'm going to do the prayers. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Sri Chaitanya Manu Vishnu Sabitam Yena Bhutale Sri Bhuta Kadamayam Tadati Prajajantikam. Sorry, I got to get my book for this one. Is that all right? Sorry. I'm in a different room. I beg your pardon.
Hare Krishna Mataji, we have Kirtan.
Oh, have you now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have Kirtan and I can get my book. Hare Krishna. Who is doing the Kirtan?
No Mataji, the speaker will do Kirtan for the first 10 minutes, then Mangalacharan, then 30-minute session.
Okay, yeah, all right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Mataji, can you share the Om Gyana for me, please?
Sure, Mataji.
Thank you.
Can I see my screen, Mataji?
Not yet, no. Where is Zoom? Zoom. It's not coming yet. Maybe it's underneath. Yes, it is now. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandhyasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. Can you recite as well on the muted mic, please, everybody? Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitam Yadevam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahadagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, 1 minute. I'll just extend this. How do you do this now? Hare Krishna. Okay. So I am going to be talking, discussing, hopefully you can join in, the Bhagavad-gita. I've chosen 2 verses in chapter 6. Can anybody tell me what is anyone recall the title of chapter 6?
Dhyana Yoga.
Thank you very much. Yes, excellent. Dhyana Yoga. So we must know which chapter which chapter we're doing and what it's the name of it, because sometimes we get asked that. Okay, the topic I chose is for discussion is Bhagavad Gita 6:34 and 36. It means it's talking about controlling the mind. I chose this because I struggle with controlling my mind, and I know a lot of people talk about finding it difficult to control the mind. And also a lot of the Shastras talk about controlling the mind. And I feel this something that I can't get around my head to controlling my mind. Is always there. It's always playing havoc on me. So I would like to address these two chapters and connect them together because they tell us some beautiful lessons Krishna is talking about. Two chapters that connect well, the 34 and 36, because somehow they go hand in hand in my eyes. So hopefully people can correct me as I go along and I don't offend anybody by saying the wrong thing. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 36, the Sanskrit verse goes like this. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyan sasyaham nigraham manye vayur eva sudushkaram. Translation, or the synonyms first, I think. Chanchalam, flickering. He certainly, mana, mind, Krishna, oh Krishna, pramati, agitating, balavat, strong, dridham, abstinence, obstinate, tasya, it's, aham, I, nigraham, subduing, manye, think, vayor, of the mind, eva, like, sudushkaran, difficult. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna it's meaning that the mind is flickering. It's so fast and it's restless. It's faster than the wind. And pramati balavad dridham, it means it's so strong and it's got very stubborn character. It would not be moved. It's abstinent. And tasyaham nigraham manye means it's difficult to control or calm or pacify. And the last word is vayor eva sudushkaram. It means it's tougher and stronger than the wind, and it's very difficult to manage. The translation goes like this. Arjuna is saying to Krishna, the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. The purport goes like this, the mind is so strong. Hare Krishna, I don't think have I got my video on? No? Oh, I can't find it. Okay. Purport. The mind is so strong and abstinent that it sometimes overcomes the intelligence, although the mind is supposed to be subservient to the intelligence. For a man in this practical world who has to fight so many opposing elements, it is certainly very difficult to control the mind. Artificially, one may establish a mental equilibrium toward both friend and enemy, but ultimately no worldly man can do so, for this is more difficult than controlling the raging wind. In the Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 1.3.3 to 4, it is said, Atmanam ratinam vidhi sariram ratam evacha buddhim tu saratim vidhi mana pragraham evacha idriyani hayan ahur vrishayam steshu gocharan atmandriya manuyuktam Bhukteti ahur manishnaha. The individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, and the sentences are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer in the association of the mind and senses. So it is understood by great thinkers. Intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind is so strong and obstinate that it often overcomes even one's own intelligence. As an acute infection may surpass the efficacy of medicine. Such a strong mind is supposed to be controlled by the practice of yoga, but such practice is never practical for a worldly person like Arjuna. And what can we say of modern man? The simile used here is appropriate. One can capture the blowing wind, and it is even more difficult to capture the turbulent mind. The easiest way to control the mind, as suggested by Lord Chaitanya, is chanting Hare Krishna. And the great mantra for deliverance is all humility, in all humility. The method prescribed is Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindaya Yoho. One must engage one's mind fully in Krishna. Only then will there remain no other engagements to agitate the mind. So, text. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, I'm frozen. Text 35, it says, text 35, Sri Bhagavan Vacha Asamsayam Mahabhaho Baho Manodurnigraham Ichalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyaya cha grihate. Oh, this is your, I'm sorry. So, the individual, where am I? Atmanan Rata Vidi, sorry. Indriyani Havanahur Vishayam Steshu Gacharan Atmendriya Mano Yuktam Bhuktetyahur Manishinaha. The individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, and the senses are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer in the association of the mind and senses. So it is understood by great thinkers, intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind is so strong and obstinate that it often overcomes even one's own intelligence. As an acute infection may surpass the efficacy of the medicine, such a strong mind is supposed to be controlled by the practice of yoga, but such practice is never practical for a worldly person like Arjuna. And what can we say of modern man? The simile used, I already said that, didn't I? Even more difficult to capture the turbulent mind. Okay, so this is when we do say the pranayama mantra, but you say it differently. Okay. Before I enter any further in Bhagavad Gita chapter, I would like to explain Bhagavad Gita and describe as a sandwich. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people heard about the sandwich, the 3 layers of the sandwich. You have the upper layer, like a slice of bread, and three layers there are, and it consists, and there's 2 layers, one on top and the other at the bottom, but there's a filling in the middle. So which one is part of the most important part? Can anybody shout out? Is it the top layer or the bottom layer or the middle layer?
Middle layer.
Yes, the middle layer is in the bread is the sweetest part, is the most, what shall I say, the essence of the sandwich. So karma yoga, in chapter 1 to 6, it describes karma yoga, meaning the actions that is done for fruitive gains and activities, which the first slice, it is about the first slice. So it's talking about karma yoga and action, and is the opposite of other more intellectual spiritual paths. So the lower layer is Jnana Yoga, which is 13 to 18, is the second slice of bread, and it covers the intelligence path. which means it attains knowledge of the true nature of reality through practice of meditation, self-inquiry, and contemplation. And the middle layer, which is 7 to 12 chapter, is the Bhakti, is called Bhakti, devotional yoga. Is dedicated getting connections, one mind, body, and spirit to the divine, Krishna, where he gives the essence, the main filling to our nourishment. So this chapter leads us to what Krishna wants to tell us, how to manage the mind with practicing Bhakti Yoga. Verse 1 to 38 covers Ashtanga Yoga, and it's been explained by Krishna to Arjuna on how to perform his life through the Ashtanga Yoga process, and completely detailed how to sit and how to meditate and how to process this Ashtanga Yoga. And Bhagavadgita 34, it says what Arjuna is saying about the mind being fickle, turbulent, and what's happening to the mind and how to relate to it. So Arjuna is speaking to Krishna, saying that the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna. And to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Krishna replying to him by saying that yes, for one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. This is not possible, as it's very difficult to control the mind with Ashtanga Yoga. Arjuna immediately questioned Krishna and challenged him on such process. And he's saying in the translation, Krishna declares it is difficult because also the mind is so unbridled, is wild, and that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detect the mind from material engagement and enjoyment can hardly achieve success in self-realization. So it's saying here, the mind's intelligence is often overpowered and is overcome by desires and mind's calling. The mind is calling for us to do things against spiritual calling. So Bhagavad-gita 36 says, Asamyata atmana yogo dushprapahiti me matihi vasya atmana tuya tata sakyo vatum upayataha. Asamyata, unbridled, atmana, by the mind, yoga, self-realization, dushprapa, difficult to obtain, iti, thus, me, my, matihi, opinion, vasya, controlled, atmana, by the mind, to, but, yatata, while endeavoring, sakya, practical, avatum, to achieve, upayata, by appropriate means. Asammayati atmana yogo, the first line means, I understand it to mean the non-self-realized soul develops a mind that is wild and lacks inhibition. Dusprapahiti me matihi is pointing to how difficult it is to control the mind and become self-realized towards the path to achieve Krishna's abode. And Vasya Atmana Tuya Tata, oh, did I do that? No, Tata means Krishna is saying, however, he's more or less reassuring Arjuna and reassuring us as well that success to control the mind can be achieved. So after all that, we're saying that it's uncontrollable. It can be achieved, Krishna is saying. So we will be looking at how this is so. So Sakya Vaktum Upayataha. How by, he said, the main thing is by being honest, endeavoring with prolonged commitment, and making an effort with enthusiasm and striving through appropriate means, by means of the actual doing, the ongoing action. So you've got to put it in practice. It's no good just knowing what to do and thinking, oh, I'm clever and I'm in a safer place. That doesn't mean you're going to be safe. So you have to put it in action and actually reap the benefit, the spiritual benefit. So translation says, for one whose mind is unbridled, which is wild in behavior, self-realization is difficult work, but one whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured by success. This is my opinion. Purport says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization. Sorry, 1 minute. Why is it moving? Yeah, can hardly, trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. Yoga practice without mental control is a waste of time. Such a show of yoga may be materially lucrative, but it is useless as far as spiritual realization is concerned. Therefore, one must control the mind by engaging it constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Unless one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, he cannot steadily control the mind. A Krishna conscious person easily achieves the result of yoga practice without separate endeavor. But a yoga practitioner cannot achieve success without becoming Krishna conscious. So how do we understand this purport? It's actually saying, for one whose mind is unbridled, which is wild, self-realized, it's difficult to achieve, and whose mind is controlled, and who strives for appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion according to Krishna. So Bhagavad-gita 6:36 goes further to explain how to control the mind. So it says, asamyata atmana yogo duspa prapahit iti me matihi vasya atmana tuyatata sakyo vatum upayataha. The translation goes like this: for one whose mind is unbridled, self-realized, is difficult to control. It's a difficult job, which is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. This is my opinion. So the purport, the Supreme Personality of Godhead declares one who does not accept the proper treatment. I think I've already said that, haven't I? I'm sorry. I think my thing is jumping. Okay. Here's some amazing example to help us to understand the mind. In the Ramayana, Appendix 2 states about the history of Vishwamitra. It was written by Satananda, the priest of the king Janaka, and he was addressing Rama. Vishwamitra was a warrior and a king transformed into a revered sage through his spiritual journey. He was relaxing once near a pool where there was a maiden taking a bath nearby. And he's meant to be a very famous heavenly sage. And he got enticed by this female attraction. And she was so beautiful, heavenly beautiful. She had a heavenly celestial maiden. Her name was Menaka, who after swimming in a nearby pool flaunted her divinely exquisite full body silhouette form assets. So he got attracted to this beauty, this figure of Menaka, and even she revealed even more by her wet clothes clinging to her body, and he was so enticed by it. He did not feel committing a sin by falling lustfully in love with her and to enjoy her. And so he invited her to his residence. And so they lived together for 100 years. And Vishwamitra became remorseful after the 100 years, and he realized he was overcome with lustful ignorances. And so he actually decided, although he said he believed that it was the work of God, he decided that he should change, and he made a major change, and he became rigidly in his yogic practice of changing by performing severe, rigid austerities. And he wasn't eating or sleeping or doing any activities, just living off the air. 1,000 years passed, and then he began to emit a kind of blazing fire from his body. So the fire born from the power of the rigorous asceticism. I got to clarify what asceticism means. So this powerful story reminds us of what does it tell us? It tells us about how complex and ambitious of these experience can be, and it actually leads you, because of how you fall prey of these lustful attraction. If you are aware and you become conscious of the wrongdoing, you will become humble, and you become you got an eternal quest for knowledge and progression in Krishna consciousness. There's another story about Prahlad. Who remember the story of Prahlad? We sing his prayers every day. So Prahlad also served the Lord so highly with his whole heart and soul that he was granted topmost benefit for us. And he actually showed us the way how to direct our worship to this spiritual well-being, the spiritual figure who is Krishna. There's another story I heard from a lecture. There was a saint called Nirsimha Mehta he was from Gujarat. He was a pure devotee of Krishna, and he had a respectable nuclear family, but brother's wife was very mean to him, so they treated him badly, and he was very poor. So when his daughter was of age to get married, the in-laws requested a large sum of expensive gifts. So there was a big list of what they would like from this family. However, he humbly faced them by visiting and to show that he had nothing. But because he was so faithful to Krishna, and he'd been serving Krishna with all his heart, he actually had Krishna by his side, and Krishna mystically provided this list of gifts to the in-laws, and the whole request was mystical. Their in-laws' request was fulfilled, and it took the embarrassment away from him and his family. Well, public embarrassment. He was very humble, so he didn't take it badly. So what's the lesson from this? Can anybody tell me? So what I gather, it says the mind is extremely powerful if channeled in a correct way towards the Lord. And how do we do that? We remember the Lord and we chant Hare Krishna, as it says above what we just read. So, and there's another story about Dhruva Maharaj, and a lot of people know about that he was in exile because he was forced at 5 years old to retreat in the forest because his father rejected him, and so did his mother. But his mother didn't. His mother gave him good messages, but his stepmother was the one who who actually rejected him and punished him because she thought her son should be gaining more attention from the father. Although it was Dhruva Maharaj was the son of the king, he also he was the king was forced to not pay attention to him, and when he did go in exile, his father was so remorseful, and he was really lamenting all the time to have his son back, but he couldn't because of the wife request. Also, we go on to, so because of his purity and his austerity, he attained Dhruvaloka, as I think everybody knows. He became a Maharaj and he attained Dhruvaloka. Oh, in verse 1 to 38, it discussed Astanga Yoga, and which has been explained by Krishna to Arjuna on how to perfect his life through this Astanga Yoga process, and completely detailed how to sit and how to meditate and how to move on in a very peaceful, austere way. And so what's Arjuna saying about the mind being fickle, turbulent, and what's responding to the mind, and what's happening to the mind, and how do we relate to it? Arjuna immediately questioned Krishna on such challenging process. Krishna is saying that, yes, for one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult. This is not possible, and it's so very difficult to control the mind with Ashtanga Yoga. In the translation, Krishna, he says also that, yes, that is so, but he declares that because it's also difficult because of the wildness that the mind is chanchal and is moving around and is so widely dancing and is never in one good stable position, and it affects us tremendously. That one who does not accept the proper treatment, that is what is said in the purport earlier on, to detach mind from material and engagement and enjoyment, one can hardly achieve success in self-realization. He says the mind intellect is often overpowered, overcome by desires and mind's calling. But then Krishna agrees in verse 35 that also, yes, also you are right in that it's very difficult to control the mind, but there is a way. And there are two processes of controlling the mind, which is abhyasa, practice, as the saying goes, practice makes the one perfect, and viragya, through performing and maintaining deep detachment. So these two things, actually practice and detachment, can help one control one's mind according to Krishna. So how are we doing with time, please? Are you keeping time, Saranya Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. It's like we have 8:50, but yeah, it doesn't matter, Mataji.
Okay, Haribo. Right. So one has to endeavor, meaning has to be appropriate, means Krishna is meaning through Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So you just don't go and think, oh, I'm all right, I'm in a better place, I can do it all by myself. One should approach a bona fide spiritual master and have faith and injunctions in the scriptures like Bhagavadgita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and also do sincere spiritual service to the Vaishnavas. With the actually by these three processes, one can help. It helps one to practice with detachment also. The Vedas compare the soul, intelligence, mind, and senses to a chariot pulled along by 5 horses. The 5 horses represent the 5 senses: the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. The reins, which are meant to control the horses, represent the mind. The driver represents the intellect, and the passenger represents the soul. In the Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 1.3.3 to 4, it is said, Atmanam ratitam vidhi, sariram ratam evacha, buddhim tu saratim vidhi, mana pragraham evacha. Sorry, there's another part. Indriyani havanahur vishayam stejugacharan atmendriya manoyuktam bhukteti yahur manishanaha. The purport. The individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, and the senses are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer of the association of the mind and senses. So it is understood by great thinkers, intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind is so strong and obstinate, it often overcomes even one's own intelligence, as an acute infection may surpass the efficacy of medicine. Okay? And a strong mind is supposed to be controlled by practice of yoga, but such practice is never practical for a worldly person like Arjuna. And what can we say of modern man? The simile, I already said that in about the simile, yes. Hare Krishna. So in chapter verse 1 to 32, Krishna is saying the easiest way to control the mind, as suggested by Lord Chaitanya, is by chanting Hare Krishna, the great mantra for deliverance in all humility. And so the method prescribed is Vaimana Krishna Pandava Vrindayahu. One must engage one's mind fully in Krishna. Only then will there remain no other engagement to agitate the mind. Also, there is a little bit more about the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.18. Atakyahi harer dimman, atakyahi harer dimman, avatara katah subhaha lila vidahata swaram ishvarasyatmana mamam yaya. Oh, wise Sutta, please narrate to us the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Godhead's multi-incarnations. Such auspicious adventures and pastimes of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, are performed by his internal powers. And I'm not sure about time, but do you want me to continue with synonyms and translation? Okay, I can finish that. Synonyms: atha, therefore; akya, he described; harir, of the Lord; demon, oh sagacious one; avatara, incarnations; katha, narratives; subaha, auspicious; lila, adventures; vidahata, performed; Swairam, pastimes; Ishvarasya, of the Supreme Controller; Atma, personal; Maya, energies. Gradually, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, withdraw it from sense activities and by intelligence. The senses will be controlled, however. Mind can be absorbed in material act and can also be engaged in the service of personality of Godhead and become fixed in full transcendental consciousness. So it says here you can actually experience both sides, but you have to control it with your service and your engagement with pure devotional service to Krishna. And so you can become fixed. Like what Dhruv Maharaj was fixed, and so was Prahalad Maharaj was fixed in his belief beliefs, no matter what anybody else did. For a 5-year-old, both were 5 years old, and they did much the same austerity, and they prospered very well. Despite the fact that Prahalad Maharaj was beaten to the pulp, he still pursued his strong faith to Krishna, and nothing was affecting him, because no matter how hard he was beaten, and in any reality situation, the child would be beaten, would be dead by then. But his faith with Krishna kept him safe and protected. So there you have it. Dhruv Maharaj went to the wilds with all the wild living entities who could eat him up in no time, and his faith kept him alive and safe. So there you have it. And Prabhupada also went through a tough time, and he had the safest protection by Krishna. He did go through some penances, but that was all to test his faith. And in the Prabhupada Leelamrita, it says that Prabhupada went through a normal childhood, but his father was so supportive towards his spiritual beliefs that he became a stronger and better person in the end. But as a child, he actually had fun like other children. And at one point I read in his Leelamrita that when he was about, I can't remember, 6 or 7, he asked his dad for a gun, a toy gun. And his dad says, no, you can't have a toy gun. What would you need that for? But he threw such a tantrum, which is normal for children, that his dad bought it, and then he asked for another one. So he had 2 in both hands. So, but it didn't spoiled his belief towards Krishna and his aim to provide for us and make us such happy family in the Krishna conscious movement. He's done everything for us. So there are some beautiful stories, and there are more. Anybody got another one they could add to the stories that qualify the mind and how we can manage it?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, who added many stories. So just small thing with regards to Vishwamitra and also with Vasistha Muni. So Vasistha Muni, he has got 100 children. And when there was a conflict between Vishwamitra and Vasistha, Vasistha has killed almost all of the children of Vasistha. But still, Vasistha, with his all austerity and tapasya, he controlled himself, even though it is so much of painful. But so in such a way, when he wanted to kill himself, suicide himself, but everything was protecting him. Such an austerity that he has performed with complete determination. Yeah. So just
I read that, Prabhu, but I didn't add it because I didn't think it was saying much. But yeah, that's good. It's so much richness in this verse that you could add the whole Shastra. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody, anything else, Prabhu, that could help me?
Thank you so much, Mataji. So it is wonderful. So this diverting the mind, it is very, very important. So otherwise, going into the forest or just meditating completely to cleanse oneself, meditating on the super soul, it is practically impossible in this age. So chanting of Hare Krishna mantra with firm conviction, hearing Krishna Katham, Bhagavadgita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita from the devotees, in due course of time, the mind will properly convince it. While hearing, we see the practical incidents that are happening. So many people who used to say some kind of instructions or suggestions, something, who are not devotees, in due course of time, they'll be measuring the time. Kala karma gunadino dehoyam panchabhutika. So everyone are dying without any restrictions. But when the devotee see, then he will be more and more firmly convinced in Krishna Katha, and practically he would see it. But materialistic people, they don't see it, because he is firmly convinced, and he is gradually, there is nothing else he would take, only Krishna only. So this is Dautatma Purushaha Krishna Padamulam Namunchati. See, he will never ever leave the lotus feet of the Lord. So just we keep hearing Krishna Kada in due course of time, everything will be transcending all the senses, mind, intelligence, ego, and situating in that transcendence, absorbing in the Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Jahnukanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It was a really wonderful topic, first of all, Mataji. Like, yes, everyone is trying hard to control the mind, and even though there are many techniques suggested, but still, as Arjuna said, it is like a wind. So in material world, to control mind is difficult. And the example, the story which I remember when you say asked was like Haridas Thakur. So how he was controlled by his mind was controlled, like all circumstances when people was beating him, he was praying to Krishna to forgive them. And even prostitute tried to seduce him, but he was focused on holy name was his everything. For Haridas Thakur, everything was just holy name. So I just remembered that. And the important is like we should be grateful for Srila Prabhupada. Like he gave us a routine, like we are engaged 24/7. Like if we follow what Prabhupada said, it's like there is no very little chance for us to get deviated. Like he plan our day, like even for Grihasthas, he said morning prayers, then 16 hours of chanting, then reading, then preaching. So if we follow that, like some materialistic people, they do every sense gratification, but still they get bored. Like they complain like, oh, we are bored, nothing to do. But in our cases, we don't do our food habit is different, our lifestyle is different, but still we are engaged. So that is the beauty of Prabhupada's arrangement. So, but still controlling mind is difficult. Mataji, thank you for selecting this topic, and there were a lot of information also. Mataji, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I probably need another class to read so much information and a lot more example of controlling the mind with the Jada Bharat as well.
Yes.
And Parikshit Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhavati Mataji, Raslila Mataji. Do you have any comments for Mataji or feedback or any questions?
Hare Krishna. It was really, really nice, Mataji. A beautiful class. Beautiful, actually, subject also what you chose. Controlling mind is not easy. As Arjuna says, Arjuna, being Krishna's very personal friend, and he's in a high position, it's not easy to get that position. Still, he is saying that it is not easy, and we never heard anywhere that Arjuna did any time Ashtanga Yoga, and he himself is telling that it's not possible for me to control the mind. So, what about us? We are nothing, especially me. We are nothing. Yeah, only through like Prabhupada has given us a beautiful, way how to remember Krishna all the time. And, he has given us beautiful structure, as Mataji said, and you all said, it's really, really nice. At least we can try to, remember Krishna and try to control our mind. Beautiful subject, Mataji. Thank you so much. Very nice examples. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Please accept, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful class and very beautiful topic and beautiful examples. That our mind we can make the mind our friend, or mind can be our enemy. So we have to train our mind. Yes, I find it very difficult. My mind goes here and there everywhere, but it is very nice to hear this topic, so that we can try our best. And yes, Prabhupada has given us all this, the process. And if we follow it, then our mind won't be, we can control our mind. Thank you so much. Amazing.
you.
Very nicely explained. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So this one more thing just to add. The mind, it comes from the mode of goodness.
Yeah.
Vaikarikad vikurvanad manah tattvam ajayata yat sankalp vikalpabhyam vartate kama sambhavaha. That is the place where kama sambhavaha, sankalpa vikalpabhyam, that is the place. Yada, and it is the Lord for these senses, and the mind, it is the leader of all the senses. Sotram chakshuhu sparshanam ghranam evacha manashaya adhistayam vishyan upasevate. That is manashayam, manashad, that is leading all the senses. So it is yadahuhu aniruddhakyam krishikanam adhishwaram Sarad Indivarashyamam Samradhyam Yogipihi Sanaihi. The Aniruddha deity, the deity for the mind, he is Hrushikanam Adishwaram. He is the Lord of all the senses. And the yogis, they realize the Hrishikeshwara or the Lord, he is Aniruddha. So they will slowly experience in their meditation. So that is mentioned also in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, 26th chapter, how about the mind. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, there were a lot of information from, yes, you're right. And also, yes, I did have the 3 modes of material nature done, but it's so much to tell. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the session. And we are waiting to hear from you more in coming days. So can I request if devotees please unmute and say loud Hari Bol to Mataji for the session. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And if there is no more questions or feedback, means can we move to Narsimha prayers, Mataji?
Yes, that's good. So who would do it? Narasimha? Anybody? Or do I have to do it? I haven't been for a while, so I don't know what the program.
You can ask if someone is volunteer. Prabhavati Mataji or Raslila Mataji, do you want to sing Narsimha prayers?
Yeah, that's a good idea. One can sing and the other recall.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I can do Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Please
Hare
accept
Krishna.
me. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadayine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatankanakamaye Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha Yato Yami Tato Narasimha Jai Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha Narasimha Sharanam Prapati Tavakara Tamalare Akamabhuta Shringa Lalita Hiranyakashipu Chandraya Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल हरे मद्भुत शृंग ललिता निरंगसितो तनु केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंह देव जय नरसिंह देव जय नरसिंह देव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद
जय प्रभुपाद
जय
जय गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव श्री श्री नरसिंह भगवान की
जय श्री
प्रहलाद
प्रभुपाद
महाराज
की जय हरि
श्री
हरि बोल
प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much everybody, you're very supportive. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhavati Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, if there is no more things, means can we wind up, Amogad Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Mataji, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for joining. We'll meet tomorrow morning for the Japa session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha
हरे कृष्ण
कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च
Pachapachitana
पावनेभ्यो
Pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
नमो नमः
अनन्तकोटि
Vaishnavita
जय
ki jai.
पादिके
Prabhupada
Jai.
ki jai.
जय
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Thank
Hare
you, Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you, all
Hare
devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.